Columbus Blue Jackets hockey on Fox Sports Ohio, brought to you by First Financial Bank. Another step on the path to success. By IGS Energy. Take control of your natural gas and energy costs and enroll today at IGSenergy.com. And by Nationwide. At Nationwide, we put members first. To find a local agent, visit Nationwide.com. Nationwide is on your side. On the road with the Columbus Blue Jackets tonight from Raleigh, North Carolina. The Blue Jackets and the Carolina Hurricanes play Game 3 of their 4-game season series. Carolina has won the first 2. And Sergei Bobrovsky, 5-3 with a 2.10 goals against average and a .933 save percentage and 1 shutout. He is getting the start for the Jackets tonight. And 200 feet away, it's Cam Ward. 2-4 against the Jackets with a .309 goals against average and an .877 save percentage. Our officials, as previously mentioned, there is the veteran, Paul Dvorsky, who will officiate his final game in early April. Close to 1,600 games. And Evgeny, or as he prefers, Gino Romasco, officiating his second ever game. Jackets wearing their traveling whites in their home reds, the Carolina Hurricanes. This one out of play, and a late scratch, Jody Shelley, for the Columbus Blue Jackets, and certainly a key miss here tonight. Nick Foligno has come down ill, a late scratch, and that means that Luke Adams will be the 17th Blue Jacket to make his debut with the hockey club.
Luke Adams going to wear number 25. He took warm-ups today, and that Nick Foligno was he was healthy at lunch. He must have just fell ill this afternoon. 24-year-old Luke Adams comes from Buffalo in December with Jerry D'Amigo.
Chip to the right wing boards. A clearing pass here picked up by Eric Stahl. The Hurricanes coming off a come-from-behind win on Sunday as we get an icing call. And let's check out tonight's Toyota Keys, presented by your Central Ohio Toyota dealer.
All right, the Carolina Hurricanes have got young D, Jeff, tonight. The Columbus Blue Jackets have got to go after them, attack the D. Tighten up the penalty kill. We know why they have to tighten up the penalty kill. Took 2 penalties early in the game, last game, and that cost them really. Could not get footing to not get back in the game. Key number 3, light the lamp.
Quick shot, shoots and scores. For the 9th time in the last 11 games, the Blue Jackets are victimized by the first goal of the hockey game. This one comes 36 seconds in. Fulk with the goal, second in points. That is his 13th of the campaign.
Key number 3 for the Blue Jackets was light the lamp. And a little move here by Fulk, right-handed shooting defenseman, finds himself some space. With that, he releases that pass, Sergei Bobrovsky. He was completely fooled on that shot.
The Kings on Sunday were down 3-0 and trailed as much as 4-1 midway through the second period, but they won the hockey game in come-from-behind fashion, a 7-4 final over Edmonton. And they start quickly here this evening.
Yeah, that was a quick start. Little face-off play, and Fulk with that heads-up move on the blue line. Sold shot and then made that little move, got a little closer, and that fooled Sergei Bobrovsky.
On the face-off, the draw won by Dubinsky. Outlet pass on the right wing for Corey Tromp, who moves up to play with Anisimov and Dubinsky. Bork playing his second game as a Blue Jacket with another icing call against Carolina. Played there the other night, but he moves up and will be with Joe Hansen and Cam Atkinson. Todd Richards talking this morning, Jody, saying, hey, we've got to start the game the right way. This is not what he wanted to see.
No, that's definitely not, but you know, that was just a quick shot. Nice little play in the offensive zone. The Blue Jackets now have got to get their feet under them, get their game going, starting with a big shift. Kevin Connauton is back in the lineup there, Jeff. You see him number 4 with Golubov.
Chip back in. Bobrovsky will love it and hangs on.
There's the coach of the Carolina Hurricanes, Bill Peters, and we're watching pregame skate this morning. The guys were getting ready, and he had it seemed like they were having a lot of fun. They don't have a great record, we know that. They're at the bottom here of the NHL, but They have brought some excitement. They had some fun. You can tell he's teaching. He's got a young team. Good challenge ahead, but you can tell he's putting down some good roots with these young kids.
Tell you what, they are in the top 10 both in power play and penalty kill. And that for the Carolina Hurricanes is for the first time in 10 years. And when you look at power play and penalty kill and see how productive they have been in both specialty teams, you'd expect them, Jody, to be a little higher in the standings.
Well, and they have some great talent. You see the players on their roster. You look at the Stahl brothers. You look at even Ron Hainsey, the power play specialist, who's been in the league a long time. Semin is a dangerous player. So no question they've got the players to do it, but that's a surprising stat.
They also have a young man by the name of Lindholm coming off a career night. 5 points and a hat trick in that game. High stick there on Belmore that goes undetected by the officials, and they hear it here from the crowd. Eric Stahl trying to walk around Turton, who holds his own. Dalton Prout there attempting to fish it free. Canes work deep in Jackets territory, but walking out. And a rink-wide pass picked up here on the right wing. Alexander Wenberg, the kid line out there right now with Dano and Wenberg. Up high, quick shot there by Prout. Saved by Ward, chipped off the boards and back into Columbus territory. Yet another icing call, and that's the third here against Carolina. We get to play 3 minutes.
Let's take a look at the Elk injury report, Jeff, and it's been a long year for the Columbus Blue Jackets with a long list. Ryan Murray is on this trip, and he did skate today with his teammates. That's a good sign. Nick Foligno's added in the last couple hours here with illness. As we mentioned, Luke Adams draws in for him, number 25 for the Blue Jackets. Connaughton is off that list for this game. So good to see Ryan Murray back, smiling. When he got on the plane yesterday, there was a lot of snickering and a couple questions as to, do you remember which seat you sit in on this plane?
Here's a centering pass there by Bourque, looking for Atkinson. Camped in front. Good work by Bourque along the wall. Gets right back on his feet as he was dropped. Quick shot there from the right point by Goluboff. Atkinson was knocked down in front of the net. Canes move into the offensive zone, and it's Eric Stahl sending it deep into Columbus territory, and Bobrovsky will wisely hang on. Well, just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, to look forward to Miller time later in tonight's contest, brought to you by Miller Lite.
And there is Luke Adams. And he practiced this morning, boy, and they skated hard after practice. Goalie coach Ian Clark had him and a couple of the guys, Falk, skating hard, working with the goaltender, Curtis McElhaney. And then he had an afternoon. And then late into warm-up, I think maybe just before he went into warm-up this afternoon, he heard the news that he was going to be playing. So quick adjustment. Good for him to get in.
Well, I would think that knowing full well you're going to get an opportunity to play and make a debut with a new hockey club here in the NHL, I think even if, well, maybe you skated hard at the end of the morning skate.
Really hard, yeah.
You know what? The adrenaline would kick in.
Doesn't matter. You're right. You're 100% correct. But it's a different situation. You could see him asking questions on the bench. He's learning right now. He's playing a similar system down in Springfield. They play the identical system as the Blue Jackets do. He's played 30-something games down there. So he is familiar with the way the Blue Jackets play hockey. But he's trying to figure out how his line mates like to play. He was just in a situation down in the defensive zone with Jared Boll and Marco Testu, and he's picking their brain as to, do you want me to go there? When you get the puck here, should I jump? Little things to help the process speed up and adapting and adjusting to his new line mates.
Had he known this morning, things might have been different. There's Nash with a steal, shot from the wing, and it sails high and wide. Of course, Hartnell didn't take part in the morning skate this morning, Jody, so he was working on a different line in Hartnell's spot.
Yeah, that's right, and that's an interesting point. You know, you come in, at least in morning skate when you know you're playing, you can settle and try to get some chemistry on the ice in the morning skate, but he'll be fine out there. He's just playing hockey now tonight.
Jackets chip in. Belmore deals it to Jordan. Skinner with a right wing feed into Jackets territory. Skinner moving to the slot. He had a couple of goals in that 7-goal outburst. 6 of them 6 of those 7 goals were scored in succession and unanswered.
Boy, that was a close call on icing, but Jared, look at the look on his face. He cannot believe that they called this icing. Watch him. Good hustle, heads up play. He's got to get to the red line. He's about a foot from the red line. And he lobbed it in. And they called that icing. That's, as a player, sometimes you're amazed at what they call, but when you flip it like that, it takes you are a little further from the line. So close call. Let's see if the linesman call it that way all night.
4th line out there for the respective teams. Here's Dalton Prout. Looks to the right wing for Bull. Tip to the far side. Falk steps up. Beyond Malone. Hainsey tried to chop it out. Jackets. Letestu moves to the corner. Luke Adam trying to cycle out. Now Falk, the goal scorer here. If you've joined us late, 36 seconds in. First shot of the hockey game. And Falk has his 13th of the year. Quick shot sails high and wide coming in off that right wing. Jackets with a clearing pass. Out to neutral ice. Dano steps up. Dano with 4 points in the last 4 road games. And there throws a good hard hit on Rissanen. In front, Ward. He'll cover up. Dano pushing back there against the defender. Rissanen. And there's no further play.
Good strong play by Dano here, Jeff. He goes in, doesn't mind taking a hit. Watch his direct routes here too. You mentioned the points in the last 4 road games. Watch him. 56 comes in shoulder to shoulder. The puck kind of follows him though. He doesn't just kick it to space. And then where does he go? Right to the front of the net. He's got good habits, Marco Dano, in his young NHL career.
Goluboff to the right point. There's a high stick on the jacket in front. That was Dano who took the high stick. No call in the corner here with Dvorsky. The senior official played by Bobrovsky. And again, he's going to cover up with Jordan Staal coming in.
Before the Jackets hit the ice before every game, get ready to join the battle on Blue Jackets Live on Fox Sports Ohio. Blue Jackets Live is brought to you by your Central Ohio Toyota dealers.
Dano, you said he took that high stick. He's looking for some blood. He might have a little. They're looking hard there, Jeff. I don't see a cut or anything.
Trying to work it. Here's Hainsey with a shot. A stop made by Bobrovsky. 5 shots for Carolina, 2 for the Jackets. Bourque given an opportunity here. How about the opportunity he is getting? Working now on the top line in the absence of Foligno. Right wing, Atkinson the shot. Ward juggles but holds on. 13:37 left.
Where the Jackets find themselves down 1-0 early in this one. Hey, right now on FoxSportsOhio.com, check out how a couple of Blue Jackets prospects collaborated this weekend in Columbus. The bright future just around the corner for the Jackets, and the latest on the Browns and Bengals moves in NFL free agency. Complete coverage of all of today's action involving Ohio sports. Brought to you by 1-800-SAFE-AUTO.com.
Faceoff will come to the left of Cam Ward. Ryan Johansson set for the draw. Flanked by Bourque and Atkinson. And a clean win by Johansson. Savard drops it back for Atkinson up high through the crowd. It sails high and wide. Lindholm, a talented youngster. We bumped into him last night, Jody, at dinner.
Yeah, he was at the dinner with his fellow countrymen, Rask. And they're good friends with Alexander Wenberg.
Puck played deep in Carolina territory. Marching out, head up, the former Blue Jacket, Ron Hainsey. Rifles it high off the glass, played by Prout. Tossed behind the net. Jackets will move it along, and it's Artem Anisimov on the right wing. Off the wall, to center. Chipped ahead there. Heads up play by Corey Trapp. Ward throws it into the corner. Backhanded by Anisimov. Trapp tried to get a stick on it, as did Dubinsky. And the Kings march out of their own zone. Threw it across the line on that left wing, Jeff Skinner. Prout stepping into the Carolina player behind the net. Dubinsky walking away from difficulty. Right side, Dalton Prout, head up at the line, throws it into the attacking zone. High off the glass, Ward communicating with his defenseman in front. Dubinsky in pursuit. chip down the ice, and I'll tell you what, we're seeing Carolina here, Jody. When they're in difficulty, all they're interested in doing is just clearing that puck down the ice for the icing call.
Well, there's a few guys that are attacking their young D. One of the keys tonight was attack the young D of the Carolina Hurricanes, and when they're doing that, especially this shift, Dubinsky and Trop were going in hard, good hard strides all the way in at the defenseman, making them uncomfortable and forcing them to make plays they don't want to. And them not connecting on passes is causing those icings.
Belmore heads up play. It's on to Skinner, who steers it deep, hustles behind the Jackets defense, but recovering to make the play there was Cody Golobuff. Left wing Hartnell can't clear. Up high, sent towards the net. Jackets in pursuit. Hartnell again. Murphy lets one fly. That ricochets off a leg and covered up by Bobrovsky.
Sergei there with a smart play. We've seen him a couple times just freeze the puck and slow things down in the defensive zone, which is a good idea. There's been some 15 to 20 second spurts where the Carolina Hurricanes are out there in that defensive zone. Sergei does a nice job of slowing things down as the Blue Jackets are going to get a penalty. Oh no, Carolina.
Penalty is going to be against Carolina. Bobrovsky's made his way out of the net.
I thought Jack Johnson on that battle might have picked one up, but
quick shot there, and play whistled down. And the call being made by Evgeny Romasko.
I thought you called him Gino.
Well, he likes Gino. His name is Evgeny. We call Malkin sometimes by Evgeny. That's his preference. At least that's what he told me prior to the game. What do you like better?
I like Gino.
Everybody wants to be Gino.
I think you're right.
So the Jackets get the first power play, and they will work against the #1 penalty killing unit in the National Hockey League. Only 20 power play goals against this Carolina Hockey Club. They allowed 2 Edmonton power play goals on Sunday, and that's the first time, Jody, since game 2 of the season that they've given up more than 1 power play goal in a game.
And that is quite a stat. Seeing where they are in the standings, you would think, as you mentioned earlier, that they would be lagging in that penalty kill stat. But boy, that's a strong, they're very strong in penalty kill.
Jackets come in tonight 7th on the power play, 41 for 202, 20.3%. But the Jackets have really struggled here of late. Since the All-Star break is coming back, the Jackets power play not very effective, only working at 8%, which is at the bottom of the National Hockey League.
Far too low, yeah.
Conversely, #1, these Carolina Hurricanes.
I mean, a good power play is around 25%. 25 to 30 is a great power play. 8% is far too low.
Well, Jackets at 20.3%. A lot of that established earlier on this season. Connaughton lets one fly, and he can certainly add to the Jackets' power play. Short-handed, carried in on the right wing. That's Gerby. Moving in, fires a shot. Bobrovsky off the shoulder. Scramble in front. Bobrovsky's lost the stick, but alertly covers up. And he was bumped. He appears to be all right there.
Well, it's kind of a mess going to the net with 2 defenders for the Blue Jackets and 2 Carolina Hurricanes. And there it is. And Gerby, 5'5", 178 pounds. Here he comes in with the puck. He's a shifty player, and he is relentless on the puck. You see him there. He's trying to battle to get back in front. Kevin Connaughton does the right thing and takes the body.
From the drop, Jackets power play. Less than a minute remaining. Savard out to center. Puck rifled in high and wide. Belmore in pursuit. Bourque is there. Loose puck played by the Kings and banked off the wall away from Jack Johnson. Originally a first-round pick by this Carolina Hurricanes hockey club. 3rd overall in 2005. Canes again clear. Savard out to center. 20 seconds remain on the power play. That's Faulkner chipping it off the wall. Nash attempts to clear. Good work there by Savard to hang on. Less than 10 minutes remaining. Chopped down that right wing. Nash by himself. 7 seconds left. Nash pulls the trigger. Stopped by Bobrovsky. And tossed behind the net where Jack Johnson will walk it out. Out steps Malone back at full strength. And it's Shovel to the far side. Belmore gets it on to Jordan. And another icing call.
Yeah, that's been a few icings. And you talked about the Carolina Hurricanes' great penalty kill. It seems like they're playing the same way 5-on-5. They're just getting the puck out of the zone. Not afraid to ice it. No real opportunities on that power play for the Columbus Blue Jackets, as Carolina was very stingy in their own end.
Absolutely. Right wing. Jackets briefly able to hold it in up high. Jordan Staal, who had missed the 2 previous games with a broken leg, suffered in training camp. Talking to him just prior to the game. All he's hoping to do is remain healthy. 1-2 combination with the 2 Staal brothers. Here's Dano, gloves it. Chopped away, following it up. Wenberg, and a nice stop there. Wenberg looking top corner, glove side, and Ward flashing the leather.
If I recall correctly, he had an opportunity last game, point blank.
He rifled one in the morning skate this morning that was pretty impressive. And if there's one area that Wenberg wants to improve, it's in the ability to add some offense.
Yeah, no question. I think everybody does. It's so fun to score goals.
Backhanded in deep. Played there by Belmore ahead of Jared Bull. Off the wall and out. Kevin Connaughton missing 7 games back in the Jackets lineup. Here's Letestu. Backhands it deep. Pressure coming. Bull behind the net. Hands it here to Letestu. Mark Letestu trying to protect that puck. In steps Adam from the point. Goluboff. And it is out of play. So with 7:56 remaining. Here's Paul Dvorsky, who we had the opportunity to talk to prior to tonight's game. And my thanks to the National Hockey League for making it all available. But how about this? 25th season. He has worked 3 Stanley Cup finals. He'll be retiring towards the latter part of the season. And talking to Dvorsky earlier on today, Chris Rooney, who was hurt in that game. We've had a number of Blue Jacket fans wondering about Rooney's condition. He, of course, left the game, could not return. He had a small fracture of the femur. But we understand, hearing from Dvorsky, as Atkinson sends it, hi, Jody, that miraculously Rooney will work later on this week.
Well, that's good news.
And we certainly wish him well, but at the same time, history being made here again tonight as Bobrovsky flashes the leather and makes the stop on Nathan Gerby. Comes in off that wing.
It's funny, Dvorsky used to not wear a helmet when he came in, when he was refereeing. Now he's got that helmet, and he's also got a visor. So a lot has changed since he started 25 years ago in the National Hockey League. One of the best guys to run in with, I'll tell you, on the ice. He's cut and dry. He's real simple and to the point, and you appreciate that as a player.
Well, he was pretty impressed last night working alongside Romasko. And what impressed him the most was his skating ability here. Well, he's going to get a penalty for cross-checking. And again, it's Romasko who's making the call.
Well, Dvorsky met...
penalty, 2 minutes, cross-check.
And Hershey. He's kind of mentoring. So they met outside of Hershey where, let's look at a penalty. Where Dvorsky is from, I looked at apartments, and this guy's going to work the American League and the National Hockey League. Well, a nice opportunity to be mentored by Paul Dvorsky.
Tootin for cross-checking. First power play for the Canes, and a shot at the goal. The 8th power play goal given by the Jackets in the last 5 games.
And that was quick work off the face-off again, Jeff. You remember Pacioretty, the Montreal Canadiens, similar position, falling off the far side on the one-timer. This is an offside shot. Tough angle. Great shot there. Making no mistake.
So, Carolina, with a little more than 7 minutes remaining, have opened up a 2-goal lead on the Blue Jackets. One at even strength, 36 seconds in. And the power play goal at 12:47. Jackets to the other end. Ward makes a stop. Nash dishes to the right wing boards for 7. Picked up by Dano along the far side. Dano works onto Wenberg. Alexander Wenberg in there, tries to fight through and away from Nash. Some help from Dano. Rask his 9th. Falk has picked up the first assist. Lindholm, who had the big night against Edmonton, picks up the secondary assist. And Falk with a goal and an assist. And the Canes a 2-0 lead. Scott Hartnell dumps it deep into the zone. Puck retrieved by the Canes in their own end. Murphy, camp behind Ward. Shots are 11-7, favoring Carolina. Dwyer in pursuit. Another icing call against Carolina, and they'll be back into Hurricane territory.
Columbus Blue Jackets hockey is brought to you by Nationwide. Nationwide, the official sponsor of the Columbus Blue Jackets.
There's Kevin Connauton back in the lineup. You mentioned it. And with him emerging this year, the Blue Jackets moved James Wisniewski to Anaheim. And the bright spot on the defense, there's a couple of them, but definitely Kevin Connauton on the point on the power play.
Here he lets one fly off the left pad of Cam Ward. Goluboff defending. Jackets squeeze out the Carolina forward Dwyer. Connauton headmans that puck to Anisimov at center. Chipped ahead into the attacking zone. Broken up by Hainsey, and it's Gerby. Darting down that right side. Connauton defends. Gerby sends it between. Oh, great effort there. It went between the legs of Connauton. Gerby never gave up on it and got a quality shot at the Jackets' net.
It's down 2-0. We'd like to congratulate season ticket holder Frank Benson, who won lunch with John Davidson and Jarmo Kekalainen through the early renewal sweepstakes. Today's prize, a signed Nick Foligno and Ryan Johansson NHL All-Star Game jersey. Renew your CBJ season tickets right now at BlueJackets.com or by texting RENEW to 37664, and you'll be entered to win.
Face off to the left of Bobrovsky. Johansson wins the draw away from Jordan Staal. Jackets chip it up, but not out. Falk with the shot. Ricochets off a leg. Played here along the right wing boards by Cam Atkinson. Atkinson marches out of his own zone. Hands it here to Johansson. Right back to Atkinson at the line. Penalty upcoming here to Carolina. A delayed call. Dvorsky with his hand in the air. Whistles play down. And the Jackets will get their second power play of this opening period.
Great speed by Cam Atkinson in the defensive zone to get out of trouble. Skated out of trouble to the neutral zone. Nice little 2-on-1 that him and Ryan Johansson created in the middle of the ice. And when they did that, watch here. The speed of Atkinson. And there it is when Ryan Johansson gave him the puck at it. He couldn't receive the pass because Gerby got under Atkinson's hands. And that was the penalty that was called.
So the Jackets 0 for 1 on the power play. They had one shot on the previous attempt. The draw controlled by the Jackets. Wenberg playing up high along with Connauton. The shot blocked in front. Hartnell played here by Anisimov. On to Johansson. Wenberg waits patiently top of the circle. Gets it now. Wenberg throws it in front off the stick of Anisimov. Hainsey hands it to Falk. He'll find a lane and dump it deep.
Blue Jackets there with that extra pass down to Anisimov. Tried to get him to corral that and do that little backup attack the net. But he couldn't bring the puck in. And Carolina quick on the puck and cleared it down the ice.
Johansson in across the line. Little give and go there from Hartnell. Connauton left point. Floats one in. Scramble there, and it just bounced wide of the net on that stick side. And again, the Canes are able to clear.
When power plays are having trouble, you hear coaches say in the media, players say we have to have a shooting power play. The effectiveness of Kevin Connauton just to take that shot, cause a rebound, and almost have a goal is a great idea. Simplify that power play.
Jackets would like to get Atkinson on the score sheet. He is goalless in 11 games, has but 2 assists in those 11 games. Not from a lack of effort. He continues to lead the Jackets in shots on goal. And cruising in the high slot. Puck picked off. Moving in, the long shot sails wide of the net off the stick of Rask, who has the second of the 2 Carolina goals in this period.
He's had a strong period. Goal and an assist.
moving in. Stick to side. By the defense in front of Cam Ward. Dubinsky brought to his knees. And a second penalty as he was hauled down. The Jackets will have 16 seconds of a 5-on-3.
And that's Dubinsky moving his feet.
To trip.
It's a one good thing when the power play has got guys moving with the puck. Good things happen. And here Dubinsky's got the puck, moves his feet. He just keeps him moving. Ron Hainsey's stick gets caught up. Dubinsky goes down. Watch this. Hainsey gets a stick in there. Call that a can opener. You saw Rene Bourque on that previous power play unit with Nick Foligno out. Bourque, you mentioned opportunity. How about him? Second game getting in on the top line with Johansson and Atkinson, and then power play time. He relishes his opportunity.
Johansson, Hartnell, Anisimov, Connauton, and Wenberg. A brief 5-on-3. Jackets have got to get that puck to the net in a hurry. Picked off and down the left wing. McClement steps to center. McClement showing patience. In the corner, battles there against a couple of the Blue Jackets. Puck squirts free. And out steps Gerby. The Canes down just a man. Little more than 3 minutes left here in the opening period. Ryan Johansson stopped at the line. Canes send it the length of the ice. Bobrovsky out. Sergei Bobrovsky left there for Alexander Wenberg. Less than 3 minutes left here in this opening period. Jackets power play. Less than a minute and 20. There's Atkinson trying to walk around Falk. In neutral ice, it's Savard taking it from Anisimov. Jackets change up the power play as play continues.
And they're really getting no offensive zone time. That one shot by Connauton created some havoc, but Carolina's doing a good job of taking away the middle of the ice and doing a job to keep the Blue Jackets on the outside.
Savard, right-handed shot on the left point, on to Jack Johnson. Back here for Savard. Savard 10 goals on the year. A career high for him. Shot by Dubinsky. Canes will clear. And the Jackets power play, as you can see, a little more than 30 seconds remain.
And when they had success, Jeff, you didn't see that one shot and out down the other end. Breaking out, you saw sustained pressure and puck retrievals.
Here's Atkinson. Atkinson in front, scores! And Rene Bourque, I believe, will get credit for that goal. The Atkinson shot redirected in front. I believe it went off Bourque's stick, and that'll be his first goal as a Blue Jacket. And it's a power play goal.
Well, great job by Rene Bourque. Opportunity, we mentioned it all year. Players getting opportunity with guys injured. Cam Atkinson does some great work with the puck here and then gets it inside. Identifies the player in front. Doing a great job in front of Cam Ward. There's a deflection. Off the top pipe, off the sidebar, and in. That's got to feel good for Rene Bourque with his new team, with an opportunity in the first period. Cuts the lead of the opposition, Carolina Hurricanes, in half.
Again, if you're joining us late, Nick Foligno becoming ill this afternoon. He is not in the lineup. A late scratch. And this morning, even prior to knowing about Foligno, Todd Richards, when talking about Bourque, said, hey, he's big, he's strong, he can shoot the puck, he's going to be given an opportunity. And tonight, not only on the power play, but he's playing on the top line. And the Jackets get that all-important goal here, Jody, scoring in the last 2 minutes of the period. And that's got to be a lift here after giving up those early two.
Oh, it's huge. And think about Rene Bourque. The story on him, he's big, he's strong, he can skate, he's got a good shot. Comes to Columbus, third team this year. Arrives, plays last game with, he didn't have his sticks. His sticks did not arrive with him, so no equipment as far as sticks. So he tries Nick Foligno's stick. He didn't like that one very much. He said he didn't really like it at all. Then he tries Kevin Connauton's stick. He said it was all right. His sticks arrived today in rally. So first game with his sticks, has him out there and scores a goal. And I'll tell you what, sticks, I don't know if I compare them to golf clubs or maybe if they're tailored golf clubs where you have them measured and gripped a certain way. You pick up someone else's club, it's just not the same. And for Rene Bourque to have his own sticks, that's a big deal for him. It's just a comfort thing, especially he's probably played with the same stick for a while, same curve, same flex. So for them to arrive today, just settles him in a little more.
There's a look at Dubinsky, who, by the way, picks up the second assist. Atkinson's shot was redirected. For Dubinsky, that assist is the 200th of his National Hockey League career. So the Jackets here, with a little more than a minute left, have cut the deficit. And another penalty upcoming here as Skinner, behind the play, was hauled down, and a little discussion going on. But the Jackets are going to be a man short here.
Trying to short this out.
Slashing call against Dano.
Some action over by the bench too there, Jeff. Sorry.
Well, Skinner was knocked down, and he had a lot to say once he got up. And of course, Scott Hartnell was right in the middle of it. So as Skinner made his way back to the bench, little extra discussion. And there's Scotty Hartnell. But Carolina will go to the power play for the second time, with Dano going off for slashing. They're 1 for 1 with one shot. Jackets on the power play, 1 for 2 from the draw. Falk onto that right circle. Puck played there by Rask. Jackets able to chop it out of the zone. Savard sending it into Carolina territory. Short-handed, Dubinsky denied. Ward right there, and followed the play and turned aside with that left pad, the Dubinsky attempt.
Well, how about the effort of Marco Testu up ice to create that opportunity and get the puck to Brandon Dubinsky.
Puck rifled in along the right wing board. Rask is there. Jackets trying to fish it free.
Move it, boys, move it!
There you hear Dvorsky encouraging the players to move it along. Stahl back to Falk. Picked up here by Stahl, chopped in front, off a stick. Anisimov's clearing attempt, knocked down by Rask. Letestu will attempt to clear and does. Canes come right back. Eric Stahl with Lindholm. Drop pass for Falk. Good active stick there. Anisimov with a shot up high. Beats Bobrovsky, and he throws his goal stick in disgust. Bobrovsky not very happy. And the Jackets have given up yet another power play goal with 9.6 seconds remaining.
Yeah, Sergei's hot. He did not like the effort in front of him at all. Defensively, the Blue Jackets don't get the pucks out. Players in front of Bobrovsky. You can't even see his helmet there. A lot of traffic in front of him. He battles to try to see around that one opposition player, but when he's got an opposition player and his own player standing there, that's double the screen, and he is not happy at all as he threw down that stick.
Final seconds ticking off in this opening period, and yet again, the Jackets, after scoring, allow a goal less than 2 minutes later. And as we mentioned, watch this as the puck gets behind Bobrovsky, and he throws his goal stick in disgust. A 3-1 Carolina lead after 20 minutes of play. Dave Mitchell will have a guess when we return. Columbus Blue Jackets hockey on Fox Sports Ohio, brought to you by Huntington Bank. At Huntington, you can bank like a real fan. Get your Blue Jackets debit card at BlueJacketsBanking.com. By Ohio Health, the official healthcare provider of your Columbus Blue Jackets. And by 5-Hour Energy Shot, now with a new, improved taste. Moments away from the start of the second period. 3-1 Carolina lead, and we've had a goal change. And as you got to look at the IGS Energy performers, the third goal now credited to Eric Stahl as opposed to Murphy, the defenseman. His shot from the point redirected. Stahl's 18th from Murphy and Falk.
Falk is playing some great hockey right now. We saw him on that initial goal with the puck. Great move. It was actually around Bourque at the blue line and released that shot. Heavy minutes. He was an all-star in Columbus. And there's Rene Bourque with his sticks that were shipped here. He arrived here today, got a goal. He's playing on the top line with Atkinson and Johansson in Foligno's absence. And power play goal in front of the net. Nice job by Rene Bourque.
Jackets 1 for 2 on the power play. Carolina. And that's the difference in the game. They are 2 for 2. Hartnell, a shot gloved by Ward, followed it right up into the glove and held on.
And this line again, Hartnell, Dano, and Wenberg has had a nice, they have a presence, Jeff. In the first period, I thought they were active around the net. They were banging and crashing. And right here, they start the period, and good mindset by Scott Hartnell just to get the puck in on Ward early. Ward does a good job catching it, negating any kind of play after that, but try to generate by throwing pucks off of Cam Ward.
Skinner ridden off on the play there by Dano. Wenberg falls but is able to get it to Jack Johnson. Another penalty upcoming here. Jackets will get another opportunity here with the extra man, having scored on the previous power play opportunity, and a hooking call here. Well, Evgeny Romashko pretty busy. He's making another call. Let's listen.
Carolina penalty. 2 minutes for hooking.
Hooking, offensive zone face-off, Jackets on their toes. The play got out towards the line. Good job by these guys, Wenberg and Dano, staying on the puck, creating that little power play advantage.
Nash off for hooking. Jackets on the power play. There is Atkinson attempting to move it along. Jackets are 1 for 3. They've had 4 shots. They had a very brief 2-man advantage in that first period. All of 16 seconds. Dubinsky cycles out of the corner. He's set up. That first power play goal. Bourque camped in front again, tried to shovel it home. And he got that big body. Jody, he's going to camp himself right there on the doorstep.
Well, if you're a big guy, you want to play in front of the net. It's very basic there. You're there to take away the eyes of the goaltender as the puck moves around and changes angles, and for any kind of rebound, kind of be able to put those pucks up and in the back of the net in those tight positions. So it's a nice job to have for a big man.
A little more than a minute left on the Jackets power play. Jack Johnson looking to step out. On to David Savard. Jackets rifle it in. Ward out to play it. Ward sends it off the wall. Rask unable to cradle it up high. Jackets able to keep it in. Johansson on here for Artem Anisimov. Johansson back to Anisimov. Johansson in the slot, reaching for it, able to keep it in with a good second effort, but not for long. Gerbe, Nathan Gerbe able to chop it away, and it's hammered down into Jackets territory, where Johansson will leave it there for Connaughton. Kevin Connaughton playing his first game after missing 7. Hartnell drops it back. Johansson. Jackets less than 30 seconds left on the power play. Hainsey unable to play it. Wenberg shovels ahead. Battle ensues along the boards. Jackets able to keep it in. Connaughton moves in. Wrist shot through a crowd. Ward sees it, scores! Jackets have a power play goal. Ward thought he had it, and the puck trickled behind him. The Jackets are back to within 1. Scotty Hartnell able to shovel that home and across the line.
And Scott Hartnell goes to the net with Anisimov providing the screen. Kevin Connaughton gets the puck through right here. Gets the puck to the net. Anisimov is there, and Hartnell comes in with that attitude and pushes it past Ward. It was sitting in his pads, but it all starts there with a heads-up shot, and Hartnell jams it home.
17th goal for Hartnell, his 6th power play goal. And that's got to breathe a little life into this Jackets hockey club.
Yeah, early in the period, man advantage. Simple play, shot from the point. Shooting power play is what you got to do to simplify things. The Jackets get rewarded there.
For the second consecutive game, we talked about this in the first period, second consecutive game, Carolina has given up a pair of power play goals. The last time previous to the Edmonton game was game 2 of the season. And now in back-to-back games, Carolina, who come in with the premier power play in all the NHL, number 1 overall, have given up a pair of power play goals to the Jackets. Hartnell from Connaughton and Wenberg. Now, Bobrovsky forced to make another stop. This is where the Jackets have got to pull up their socks here after scoring a goal, not allow the opposition back into it.
Yeah, and you talk about the Carolina penalty kill, where they've given the Jackets too many power plays here so far tonight, Jeff. That's the fourth one the Jackets have had here so far, and it's very early in the second period.
Jackets able to sweep it down. Race for the puck. Carolina marching out of their own zone. Jordan unable to send it into Jackets territory. Good work there by Hartnell, trying to fight through the check there of Bellemare. From the slot, it's chopped. The length of the ice. There'll be no icing here. Waved off and played by Jack Johnson. Johnson sends it to center. Hartnell kicks it back here for Dano. Dano across the line, trying to walk around the defender there. Good work. Jordan trying to hold off Dano, who uses his speed to get by him.
Yeah, it was a good one-on-one challenge for Dano, and he took it. Almost got around Jordan. But last second play just negated the whole thing.
Mikhail Jordan. Kane's pretty impressed with this young man.
That's spelt Michael Jordan.
Yes, indeed. There's only one Michael Jordan in North Carolina, though.
That's right. Good point, Jeff. And Sergei Bobrovsky with some key saves, as you mentioned, right after a goal. Sergei locked in on that one. No one in front, one-on-one. Stares the puck. The initial shot. And how about that rebound?
Kevin Connaughton drives it deep, high off the glass. Hainsey there to play, away from Atkinson. Jackets let one fly, deflected wide. Atkinson off the backboard. Atkinson got a spring free. Hainsey in pursuit. Bourque finishing a check there. Rennie Bourque, jersey number 32, playing his second game as a Blue Jacket. Scored on a deflection and on a power play in the first period for his first goal as a Jacket, his third of the season. Here's Jeff Skinner now, across the line. A quick shot sails wide. Delayed penalty upcoming against the Jackets. Out of the net. And it's a long way to that Carolina bench. Ward gets there. But play is called with a hooking penalty being assessed here. And again, it's Romasko who makes the call.
And that's a turnover in the offensive zone for the Blue Jackets right at the blue line. Ryan Johansson could not keep it in. Golubov on the back check here. He was behind Skinner's speed, hooked at him. Jackets on the penalty kill here.
4:58, the time of the penalty. Faceoff will come to Bobrovsky's left. Canes are 2 for 2 on the power play and have scored on both their power play shots. Rask shovels ahead. That's Lindholm dancing along the right wing boards. Hands it off. Coming off the point there was Falk, but unable to cradle that puck. Right-handed shot on the left point. In the slot, set in front. Eric Stahl can't find the handle as Rask handed it to him, and the Jackets are able to clear.
Yeah, it was lucky for the Blue Jackets. Looked like Rask had a lot of time and space to shoot that puck himself, but he wanted to give it to the captain, Eric Stahl. They just couldn't convert.
5.5 minutes plus gone here in the second period. Coming in off the wing, set in front. Lindholm unable to play it. Along the board. Jackets defend. Stahl tied up there by Wenberg. Left wing pass, short-handed. Wenberg. Right side, Anisimov. Rask is there. Anisimov. A good job of keep away. Falk to play it, throws it into the high slot. Jackets get to it. Savard with a shot, it's blocked. Rask now turns away, drops it back for Falk at the offensive blue line. Dealt here. Nestrasil on for Murphy. Nestrasil heads to the net. Murphy looking cross ice. Oh, what an outstanding stop! Moving laterally was Bobrovsky, tracking it down. He read it. And the pass to Jeff Skinner, the quick shot, but Bobrovsky, outstanding stop there.
Murphy with a nice pass across the seam. Sergei Bobrovsky's tracking this puck. Look at him. He's almost upright. Then he locks in, pushes across, gets down. That's got to feel good for Sergei after that frustration towards the end of the first period.
After the third goal, if you weren't with us, the second power play goal in that opening period as Bobrovsky was screened in front. He threw his stick down in disgust. But he's regained his composure here in the second period, for sure. Murphy carries in. Final seconds ticking off in the penalty to Golubov. Murphy, cross ice. Skinner. Jordan Staal on here for Skinner. Standing at the penalty bench is Golubov. From the point, Murphy gets away from him as Golubov steps out.
Murphy was loaded up for the one-time shot. That puck wasn't in the right spot. It looked like it might have hopped at the last second. Good for the Blue Jackets as it gets cleared down the ice.
Jackets now leading on the shot clock, 17-16. They trail by a goal, and it's Wenberg on to Hartnell. Hartnell feeds Dano in full flight across the line. Dano sends it ahead. McClement able to cut off the attempted pass, and it's sent deep into Jackets territory. Bobrovsky, good hustle. Gets it over here to Jack Johnson. Off Belmore to be played by David Savard. Approaching the 8-minute mark of the second period. A 3-2 hockey game. First of two meetings here over the course of the next week. Coming in off the wing. Of course, Carolina will be in Columbus at Nationwide. Shot by Hartnell. Stick to side. Jackets with two home games, Friday and Sunday. Edmonton Friday. Carolina will be at Nationwide on Sunday. Wholesale changes by the Jackets. The outlet pass on the right wing, backhanded ahead by Dwyer. Bobrovsky out to play. And we get play whistle down here.
Too many men for the Blue Jackets.
We got too many men on the ice. Columbus.
Jaworski makes the call. He will step aside. And another power play for Carolina when we come back.
Get over the Columbus Blue Jackets, and there's a couple of guys that are very, very familiar with each other. Wenberg and Lindholm, both 20-year-olds, both from Sweden, same agent, same trainers, played in the World Juniors together, drafted the same year, traveled over to the draft together, spent the night before the draft together with dinner with their agent. Lindholm went 5th overall to Carolina, and then 14 to Columbus goes Wenberg. These guys are close as brothers, and Lindholm is a centerman who's playing the wing here now, and Wenberg, when you talk about Lindholm to Wenberg, he just says, oh, I was always behind him. He'd be the #1 center. I was #2. He got drafted ahead of me. I was drafted after him. But he's looking to close that gap.
Think there's a little extra motivation in the two youngsters tonight playing against each other?
Yeah. It's got to be. It's nice to have that familiar face. Not just in the building, but on the ice competing with. I'm sure he's taking note of what Lindholm is doing. And Lindholm tracking Wenberg. They'll probably chat about it briefly after the game, but right now, advantage Carolina.
Rask steps to the line. Lindholm and Wenberg, incidentally, both have picked up an assist here tonight, so they're even on the score sheet.
There you go.
Up high. Staal throws it back to the point. Falk waits. Jackets able to get a stick on it. Good work there by Atkinson as we approach the midway point of the second period and the hockey game. Less than a minute left on the power play. Right side. Semin pressured. Dubinsky finds a lane and sends it back deep into Carolina territory. Through the neutral zone. Jordan. Semin. High slot Murphy. Skinner looking to walk out of the corner. Murphy. Jordan. Stick save. Rebound. Jordan Staal not able to pull the trigger there. Jackets defend. Jack Johnson can't. Right there in front of Bobrovsky. Bouncing puck. Bobrovsky's going to hang on here with 10:01 left and 14 seconds remaining on the Carolina power play.
Columbus doing a good job. Stops and starts in their own end, staying in the middle of the ice, keeping Carolina to the outside. Much tighter in their own end right now. Started the period exactly how they should have, Jeff, with that goal quickly on the power play. They get through this penalty kill and then get back to playing their tempo, their style of game. They can take this game over the way Sergei's playing for sure right now.
Chipped off the wall. It gets by the defenseman Rissanen. Murphy back. Johansson chasing. Murphy, right wing for Dwyer. Dwyer into the attacking zone. Dumps it deep. Goes right back after it. Savard is there. Jack Johnson had it briefly. Far circle. Jackets able to keep it away from Carolina. It's Atkinson. On for Bork. Bork chops it behind the net. Rissanen got to turn around. Johansson's able to play it. Tosses it back here to Connaughton. Through a crowd. Ward saw it at the last moment and will cover up and hang on. 9:17 left here. Second period. By a goal. 9:17 left in the second period. A look at Sergei Bobrovsky, and he is the subject of tonight's Ohio Health Great Save.
And it's Jeff Skinner that's going to take a shot right here. You see Sergei working it, coming across, alert and sharp with that glove hand. Here it is again. It's a nice pass from Murphy. And 53 Skinner. He knows how to shoot that puck quick when he gets it. Right there, Sergei Bobrovsky outquicks him.
9 points in the last 13 games for Skinner. When the Jackets played Carolina early on in the season, both games won by Carolina, Skinner was in the doghouse with his new coach. But he has moved back up in the lineup and certainly is a key member of this Carolina offense.
Yeah, he's got a lot, boy. He's not very big, but he's quick, Jeff. He's got a great shot.
Had a great rookie year. Bobrovsky, nice stop, and able to keep that puck away from Eric
Rookie of the year? Yeah, he won the Calder?
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
He can have a very good follow-up season. And as I said, kind of in the doghouse here with the new coach early on, but he's out of the doghouse and certainly a key member of the club. There's Belmore with a shot. Sails wide off the backboard. Loose puck picked up, sent back up high. There's a shot by Falk. Ricochet off a leg. Lindholm tried to play it. Dalton Trout does. And it's on to Wenberg.
That leg was Corey Tropp fearlessly down in front of that shot by Falk, and he just took it off the leg, and there he is. He's getting it on the forecheck.
Anisimov now credited with the primary assist on the Hartnell goal. He'll take an assist away from Wenberg. So it's Hartnell from Anisimov and Connaughton. Less than 8 minutes left here. Sure seeing a lot of scoring changes these days. Up high. Gerby unable to get a stick on it. Jackets with the clearing pass. It's on to Dubinsky at center. Tossed ahead, and Gerby will play it. Gerby dishes it onto the left wing. Jordan Staal tied up. Murphy, left point. Dances in. Sends it to the goal line. Bulls lost his stick. Quick shot Murphy. That's wide. Up high. Shoveled into the corner by Rissanen. Tossed behind the net there. Nestorsil battles. And he's drilled to the ice. Jackets. Jared Bull looks for it. Down that left wing. Stood up, albeit briefly there by Rissanen. Nash. Into the offensive end. Nash now. Pressured there by Golubov. Connaughton, nice move there to keep it away from Skinner. Jackets send it up, but not out. And Rissanen unable to play it. Looked like he was going to be able to keep it in the offensive zone, and now he and Murphy paired on the point, D to D.
Jackets got a break there, Jeff. Late in the shift, down on their own end in the second period. We've mentioned in previous games, the long change is a long way to get out, but that puck rolled out, enabled Jared Bull to get off.
Initially, it looked like Rissanen was going to be able to keep it in. Just kind of bounced off his stick, and plays it off the wall. Chopped ahead, and picked up along the right wing boards. This is McClement, breaks it in front off the blocker. Ever alert there was Bobrovsky. He threw the blocker out there, and he was able to redirect it with the fast-charging Canes moving to the front of the net. This one blocked by Bork.
Nice job by Bork there. Falk has got a big shot. Smart player with the puck. Bork got right in that shot lane, negated that attempt to get through and into traffic.
Coming through and across the line, that's Dwyer trying to walk around the defenseman Tootin. Dano is there. Jackets send it up and out. Dwyer almost deposited by Dano on that Carolina bench. He's not afraid to play the body, is he?
Oh, he's stout on his skates, too. And he's not afraid to take a hit or give a hit.
Eric Stahl to Lindholm. Right wing at center. Wenberg right there defending. There's his fellow countryman and good friend. Along the wall, Hartnell. On for Dano with Wenberg. The pass here for Wenberg at the line. Broken up by Carolina. That's Eric Stahl. Wenberg gets it right back. Wenberg walks in. On to Dano. Dano for Hartnell. Hartnell. Jack Johnson. Savard ricochets off the leg. Actually went off Wenberg. Now the Jackets will try to carry back in. Jordan Stahl. Defending on Savard. This one off Stahl's stick. Bobrovsky out to play. 4:40 left. It's 3-1. After one, favoring Carolina. The Jackets with a power play goal to cut the deficit. And here we are, 3-2. And this one by Jordan Stahl sails high and wide. Stahl gets it again off that backboard. Stahl in front. Bobrovsky denying Gerby, who came in from the left wing. Bobrovsky makes the stop. Play is whistled down. We have 4:19 left, second period. A one-goal Carolina lead.
Late in the second period, and that is Rasmus Rissanen. He's from Finland. He's a big boy. This is his third National Hockey League game, and he's represented Finland in international tournaments, Underworld Junior Championships, 2011 World Junior Championships. 6'3", 217-pound defenseman, Jeff, and he tonight so far, and I heard the word on him, he's 23 years old. He's got good mobility out there for a big guy, but not afraid to get a little physical. Those Finns, you know, they can play with that edge.
Anybody you're talking about in particular?
No.
Tossed to the right point. Through the crowd, it's deflected wide. Savard tried to throw it in front here. Dubinsky does, but sends it high off the netting.
After this game and after every Blue Jackets game, Fox Sports Ohio breaks down the game. We talk to the players and Coach Richards on Blue Jackets Live. It's presented by IGS Energy. IGS Energy allows you to take control of your natural gas costs. Enroll at IGSenergy.com.
One other note on Rasmus Rissanen, Jeff. He played for Coach Hartsburg in Everett in junior, along with Ryan Murray. Interesting. Must have had a pretty good team. A few of those guys have made it to the National Hockey League level.
And of course, Hartsburg himself, a former National Hockey League defenseman. They've handed out a few pointers along the way to those two. Ryan Murray, if you missed this earlier, with the hockey team and skated today again and looked real good. We could conceivably see him before the week is out. Back in the Jackets lineup, and that would be a welcome return.
Yes, definitely. And you talk about Hartsburg coaching the young guys. I saw him today working with Jack Johnson in the hallway, just going over details of one shift. Ooh, big hit there by Ryan Johansson.
Net dislodged and play has been whistled down. Face-off will come to the right of Cam Ward as you get a look at Craig Hartsburg.
Veteran player, and listen, even the veteran players need adjusting. They need reminders. Of course they do. Everybody needs to be coached on this team.
He doesn't look very happy right now.
No, he's not.
Any idea why?
Well, first of all, the score, and probably the last shift. I mean, he's always focused on the defenseman, but when the forwards aren't helping the defenseman, the defensive coach is not very happy. You need all five guys working in that defensive position, and that could have something to do with it.
That is a great point, because how many times have you heard we work as a five-man unit? We work as a five-man unit. And yes, the forwards are as responsible when it comes to the defensive side of the game.
Well, you think the defensemen are relying on the forwards to block shots, box out, and the most important one, back check and help out.
From center. Puck carried in here by Carolina. On to McClement. McClement stepping away from Dalton Trout. Tosses it behind the net. Fourth line out there right now for Carolina. Working against the Jackets kid line. And that's chopped back into the zone. Bobrovsky with less than 2.5 left. Pushes it backhand. Trout. Right wing for Dano. Dano on to Hartnell. Out of the zone. Hartnell. Wenberg settles down that bouncing puck and tosses it in. Jackets will get fresh legs on. Oh, boy. Jack Johnson with a tremendous hit there on Lindholm.
And Lindholm just received that puck and then received the shoulder of Jack Johnson all at the same time. Perfectly timed by Jack Johnson. There it is. Jack Johnson saw the puck and the player not looking. Lindholm, a young, highly skilled player, not used to receiving that treatment. And
see him glance over at Jack Johnson as he was heading off the ice.
Jack's fine with that.
Again, Jack Johnson, original 3rd overall pick in 2005 by Carolina. Of course, did not sign and was traded to the Los Angeles Kings. Less than 2 minutes left. Second period. And Bull with a hard hit there on Skinner, and he took exception to a bit of a cross-check at Bull.
Two guys not used to getting hit, Skinner and Lindholm. Jack Johnson and Jared Bull throwing their weight around.
Jackets, when they're effective, do use their body.
Oh, definitely. And Jack Johnson is the best. I mean, I think he set the tone. You go back to last year, a light went on for the Blue Jackets. He labeled a player in the defensive zone in front of the net, and he just, not only does it create space for himself, but for his teammates.
Well, we saw that quite evident during the Stanley Cup playoff series against Pittsburgh.
That's what it was. Huge hit, big presence, playing against the top players, Crosby, Malkin. And I mean, Lindholm right there. I think he'll keep his head up the next time he receives that puck in the defensive zone.
You better believe it. We'll be looking for that number 7. 1:19 left. Much better period for the Jackets here. They block a shot. Corey drops in front of it. Murphy at the right point. Ricochets in front. Bobrovsky was down, but good defensive work there by Dubinsky to hold off Carolina. And that's what we're talking about, the forwards helping out the defense.
Exactly, and that Rask was already got a goal and an assist, but he had an opportunity with an open net, couldn't get to it. But good job by the forwards and defense of the Blue Jackets to help out Bobrovsky.
Artem Anisimov works it along the wall. Lindholm back out there, reaching in for it. Rask keeps it away from Dubinsky. Canes walk out of their zone well into the final minute. Eric Stahl, Lindholm, deep in the zone. Played here by Teuton. Teuton defends, turns it over. Quick shot, Bobrovsky to stop. Rebound. Played in the slot as Hartnell was dropped. Bobrovsky, ever alert, makes a big stop there. Here, swept ahead. Dalton Prout picks up the loose puck. Crowd here a little upset. No penalties being called. Final seconds. Stahl trying to walk to the net. Stahl looks. This one ricochets over top. Bobrovsky able to track that one down. And the horn goes to end the second period. Bobrovsky outstanding in the latter stages. Let's look at a couple of big stops late.
Well, he's scrambling in a couple of these, Jeff. Well, look at the defenseman, or the forwards playing defense. The defenseman, there's layers, and they're getting it from Bobrovsky out to the next layer and then out of the zone. Great job by Bobrovsky, as you mentioned.
Much better period for the Jackets. They've cut the deficit to 1. Dave Metzold will have a guest when we come back. And, of course, the third period ahead in this one-goal hockey game. Columbus Blue Jackets hockey on Fox Sports Ohio, brought to you by Roush Honda. The best way to say Honda is Roush Honda. And by Ticketmaster. Score. Get the only NHL tickets sold by fans and verified by Ticketmaster. It's all hockey, no hassle, right now at NHL.com/ticket-exchange. All but set for third period play, Sergei Bobrovsky. An outstanding second period for him in the Jackets net as he turned aside all 7 Carolina shots. And prior to puck drop, how about tonight's AEP power play summary, Jody?
Well, there you go. The first goal was scored 36 seconds into the game, but since then, power plays have taken over. 2 for Carolina, then 2 for Columbus. And that puts us at a 3-2 score here. It's been an eventful night, and the specialty teams a big part of it here so far, Jeff.
Rolling puck picked up there by Wenberg. He is pressured. I thought there was a little more chippiness to the game as it's worn on here, Jody, and see what happens here in the early minutes of the third.
Well, I thought the Blue Jackets asserted themselves physically when you take a run at Lindholm like Jack Johnson did and Jared Bold taking a run at Skinner. I'm sure that Carolina took notice between periods.
3 Jackets leading the hit parade with 4 each. Jack Johnson, Rennie Bork, and Marco Dano all credited with 4 hits. Nice play there as the Jackets break it up. Who else but the aforementioned Dano stood up there by Falk. Stayed on his feet. He is really strong on his skates. Meantime, the shot by Skinner turned aside by Bobrovsky. Right side, Dalton Trout takes the Tootin pass. Away from Hainsey, dumps it in deep. Ward sends it off the wall. Hainsey can't clear. Jackets look for the redirect in front. Who else would? Big Bork. Jackets backhand. Oh, nice stop there by Ward, denying Bork his second of the night on the backhand.
That was a good play started by Dalton Prout off the wall. His stick, the back of the stick was pretty much on the sideboards, and he had the right idea just to throw it into traffic.
Kane's able to keep it in at the point. Jordan Staal throws it up high. Belmore with a shot that trickles wide. Jacks bounce it off the wall and send it in deep.
Columbus is going to go for a change here. Good start for the first couple of shifts for this period. Good speed. And the mindset of throwing the puck into that area in front of Cam Ward is really what got these Jackets back into the game.
D-to-D. Connaughton steps up. Connaughton with 5 shots in this hockey game. Nice to see him back in the lineup. Most of those shots coming while the Jackets enjoyed a power play.
Well, he's effective, Jeff. Not only the idea to get the shot towards the net, but the skill to get it through traffic and on the net. Very effective. He's got a good release, a quick shot, and he's smart on that blue line.
Puck turned over. Shot gloved and held by Bobrovsky after that turnover. Bobrovsky shuts the door there on Eric Staal.
And this is a shift to start the period. Dalton Prout, 47, on the wall at the hash mark, sees a presence in front of the net, Renee Bork. And then Atkinson, good heads up, skill and speed. And look at Bork again. Tries to gather that in and backhand it, but there he is tapping his stick. He did that on his goal. Tapped it a couple times. He wanted that puck. He's doing a good job of getting underneath the defenseman and on top of the goalie, finding some space.
Yeah, he had a pretty solid game here tonight.
Yeah, he has, and he's really... We talked about opportunity, and it's easy to talk about it, but it's got to feel good to go out and execute, as he has so far this game.
Absolutely. Todd Richards made it very clear prior to tonight's game that he would have that opportunity, even more so in the absence of Nick Foligno. If you joined us late, Nick coming down with the flu of some kind just prior to the game. A late scratch. And that moved Luke Adam into the lineup, and Bork to the top line, and the aforementioned Luke Adam moves it along. It's played there by Letestu, fails to clear. Now good effort by Letestu on the recovery. Jackets march into Carolina territory. Adam, Letestu, Bull tried to pull the trigger, and Ward able to cover up.
But Jared Bull there gets the puck. Nice play behind the net by Letestu and Luke Adam. Jared Bull gets it on his forehand, but not able to release the puck. This is off a turnover by Letestu. Good support by Adam, who gets it back. Look at that tricky pass. But as Jared Bull got it, he tried to get it and release it in one motion. Failed to snap it on net.
While you were looking at that replay, I was looking down on the ice, and Bork and Atkinson had a quick discussion. So nice to see that communication. Atkinson able to get a quick shot away. But again, Cam Ward with the stop. So there's a lot being said here by Bork. He realizes, and Jody, we talked about this the other night, this might be his final opportunity, and he wants to make the best of it.
Well, yeah, he wants to be here. Of course, he wants to be in the National Hockey League. But when you get later in your career and you identify opportunities, you want to go in, start fresh on a positive note. And he's done that so far here, definitely tonight.
Never felt that he really had the opportunity in Anaheim, in and out of the lineup. As he told Aaron Portzline as a dispatch story, he and Therrien, the head coach in Montreal, did not see eye to eye. And here in Columbus, he wants to make his presence felt. And as we said, Coach Richards says he's big, he's strong, he's a great skater, and he's going to be given every opportunity. Johansson able to fight off the check there from Belmore. Bourque had it roll off his stick. Chipped off the wall and sent to center. Dalton Prout headmans that puck. Quickly moved out of the zone. Johansson flips it right back in. Bounces. Oh boy. An awkward last bounce that had Ward leaning one way. Was able to come back and make the stop with the pad. Jordan dumping it in. Kirby is there. Jackets defend. Loose puck. Trop attempts to clear. Sent ahead. Quick shot by Gerby, sails wide. Jackets long lead pass for Corey Trop, sails the length of the ice. It's icing.
Tomorrow, the Big East tournament tips off as Marquette takes on Seton Hall at 7 o'clock Eastern, followed by Creighton battling DePaul at 9:30 Eastern. The Big East tournament, presented by New York Life, begins tomorrow, and the only place to see it, Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go.
Face off to the left of Sergei Bobrovsky. From the draw, Jackets and Anisimov. Skates to center. Backhands it deep in the zone. Rimmed around the board. Semin unable to clear. Quick shot. Tried to knock it down in front of the net there. Was Dano. Anisimov along the wall. Hartnell is bumped. Delayed penalty upcoming as he was cross-checked. Bobrovsky now just aware of it now. Makes his way out of the net. Anisimov with a shot. That is deflected wide. The Jackets are going to go to the power play. As play is whistled down and a cross-checking penalty will give the Jackets their 5th man-power advantage. They are 2 for 4. The cross-check knocking down Scotty Hartnell.
Hartnell was out there with Anisimov.
Carolina, 2 for cross-check.
And Dano, as Falk is pleading his case, saying you let that go down there and you're calling this one on me. So Blue Jackets here, man advantage. Looks like Anisimov is out there up forward, and Kevin Connaughton along with Wenberg on the point. That was a look at the penalty. Cross-check to Hartnell, who went down.
Golden opportunity here to tie up the hockey game. Belmore able to send it out as he sends it high off the glass, rimmed around and out. Kevin Connaughton leads the Jackets with 5 shots. Hartnell feathers a pass here. Johansson up high. Connaughton now moves to the right point. Sent in front. Deflected. Anisimov able to get a piece of it, but Ward was there.
Great job by Ryan Johansson on that chance to just get the puck, find some space, and throw it into traffic. Scott Hartnell's down there creating a great screen in front of Cam Ward.
Jackets called for icing here.
You know, it's not just Scott Hartnell there. The defenseman standing there right with him. And we saw the one goal of Bobrovsky was Dalton Prout along with the screen of Carolina. Well, watch this. Johansson snaps it in there. Hartnell's there, taking up a good amount of space, and Cam Ward, who didn't see that till the last second.
From the draw, Jackets march out of the zone. Johansson with that long reach, but it's swept away by Gerby. Following through now is Wenberg. Onto the left wing for Hartnell. Into the slot, backhanded by Anisimov. Wenberg tried to get a stick on it, did not miss by much. He went to the front of the net looking for the redirect. Here is Johansson. Power play, a little more than a minute left. Johansson showing patience. Anisimov trying to convert up the goal post and in. Scotty Hartnell with his 2nd of the night. And the Jackets have tied it up at 3.
Simple power play. Ryan Johansson really is the catalyst here with this move on the wall. Watch what he does here. Previously, he took a shot from this position just a little higher. Here, he's assessing the situation. Look at Hartnell. Hartnell's drawing the attention of 14 there, right in the middle. And that opens up the backside, and a good job by Anisimov. Ron Hainsey's alone. With Hartnell in that shooting position, Gerby's got to go over and play him. And as the puck goes down low, Hartnell creeps in, finds the puck. Makes it look easy, doesn't it?
Sure does. His second goal of the night, his 18th of the season, and both his goals on the power play. His 6th and 7th power play goals of the year. An icing call. So a big night for Hartnell.
And a big night for the power play, Jeff. That's
3 goals.
3 goals tonight on the power play.
And the most given up by the Kings in one game. Previously, last game they gave up 2. In the second game of the season, the only other time they gave up more than 1 power play goal in a game, it was game 2, and they gave up 2 that night. So for the first time in a season, this season, they've given up 3, and they came in tonight first in all the National Hockey League in penalty killing efficiency.
Been a lot of power plays tonight.
Yes, we have.
Maybe you stirred the refs up when you did the interview at the top.
Well, right now it's working in the Jackets' favor. I wish I could take credit. There's Bourque behind the net. Sent off the wall. Gerby to pick it up. A 3-3 tie as we approach the 7-minute mark. Jordan Staal on here for Gerby. Gerby from a sharp angle. Stick save Bobrovsky. I think Sergei Bobrovsky with that little outburst maybe kind of woke up his teammates there. And think back to the tail end of the first period when in disgust he threw his goal stick. That might have woken up the hockey team here because they have played a lot better in front of Sergei Bobrovsky since that point in time.
Well, just remember that was at the end of the period too.
Right.
The Jackets had a poor period, so conversation. Maybe that you're right. That when you see a leader and a goaltender, especially Bobrovsky, you don't see a lot of emotion out of him. Do that, everybody takes notice.
Incidentally, Anisimov picks up the primary assist on the Hartnell goal. That is his second assist of the night. Ryan Johansson picks up the secondary assist. And we are at the 8-minute mark, tied at 3. Carolina led 2-0 and 3-1. The Jackets have come back. And as we approach the midway point of the third period, it's a tie game. Ron Hainsey unable to clear. Left wing pass, Malone. Off the stick there of Golubov. Here comes Dano in full flight. Dano works on Falk and is deflected out of play. 11 minutes, 38 seconds remaining. Third period, regulation tie. The Jackets tie it up. A look at Scotty Hartnell's got a pair of power play goals, and the tying goal is tonight's Big Lots Big Play.
And Scotty Hartnell is in that shooting position here, but you'll see him follow up. Anisimov in front, right on Hartnell's stick. And when the puck gets inside in that dangerous area, in front of the blue paint, Scotty Hartnell's one of the best at finding a way to put it in. A lot of his goals, Jeff, are scored right in that area.
Not afraid to go to the front of the net.
Both tonight.
Quick shot by Atkinson. He sends it wide. Jackets win the draw. Atkinson in prime territory, but he rifled it wide of the net. Bourque. Johansson, Atkinson. Connaughton in off the point. Kevin Connaughton on for Atkinson. Atkinson, the slot. Johansson fought out by Ward. And Bourque could not get to that rebound. He tried, but defended in front there by Jordan Staal. Golubov. Johansson offside. Now time for tonight's PNC game summary.
And there it is. You can see the hits by the Columbus Blue Jackets. Really physical, some big hits. Jack Johnson, after one, was leading the way along with Rene Bourque and none other than Marco Dano, each with 4 after 2 periods.
Jackets carrying the territorial play here right now. Carolina hemmed up in their own zone. Clearing pass, up high, Trop, good save at the line there. Off the stick of Dubinsky, walked out here by the King. Belmore, unable to gain entry into Jackets territory. Hammered in by Jordan, far side. Rask, Lindholm, Eric Staal to the point. Quick shot from a sharp angle. Bobrovsky the stick save. In off the point, Jordan. Eric Staal off a skate. Another attempt as Trop drops in front of it. Rask looking to feed Lindholm. Lindholm off the wall, but Corey Tropp is there. He'll walk it to the line. Tropp able to sweep it by the defenseman Rissanen. He's back to scoop up the loose puckers. Both teams change on the fly. We have just passed the midway point of period number 3. Rissanen, right wing feed. Murphy through the neutral zone, into the attacking zone. Moves in with a shot. That's high off the glass. Dwyer looking for McClement. Tied up. Reaching for it there is Wenberg. Alexander Wenberg able to play it. Shovel to the right wing board. Here comes Dano. One man back. Dano. Nice move. Fires a shot that's sent wide.
Wow, nice little outside-inside move around the defender. Good opportunity. Looks like he just didn't get all that puck off his stick.
Dano for Hartnell. Riding 2 goals in this hockey game. Poke check there. 9:15 left. Quick shot by Golubov. That is blocked. Wenberg will toss it back for Connaughton. A superb skating defenseman. On to Hartnell. Back here for Wenberg. Both teams keeping the shift short here right now as Golubov looks for Connaughton, who steers it right in on Ward, and Cam Ward will hold on. 8:54 left. Marco Dano, great move.
Tied up here in Carolina. Rennie Bourque has had quite a night, Jeff. Opportunity on the power play, opportunity on the first line with Nick Foligno out, and he takes advantage. Blue Jackets power play goal. He's camped in front of the net. Here, similar situation. Look at him. In front of the net, has a nice opportunity there. Cam Ward has to make a heck of a save. He's been assertive, blocking shots. First goal of the night, he didn't block the shot and got walked around, but since then, he's been effective going to that paint. And done a nice job here so far.
Nestrasil in front off his skate. Atkinson back to make the defensive move. Nestrasil trying to hold him off. Can't keep it in. Atkinson battles in front of the Columbus bench. Gordon Stahl looking to play it. Bourque on here for Golubov. Atkinson steers it in. Ron Hainsey quick to clear at center. Nestrasil on here for Jordan Stahl in the right wing. Connaughton defends. Stahl dances out of the corner. Throws it up high. Here's Hainsey. Rips it wide of the net. Gerby trying to dance away. Gerby in the high slot. Long shot there. Ricochets off a leg and Johansson's away. Back and making the defensive play is Jordan. He's seen all kinds of ice time tonight. Rask steers it deep. Mikhail Jordan, jersey number 47. Belmore from the right wing boards. Bobrovsky down. He had the angle. Jordan shovels to the corner. Eric Stahl with a wraparound attempt. Less than 8 minutes left. Up high, Jordan with a shot. Jackets block it from the slot. Kick save. Head of beauty. Kicking out that right pad.
He's locked in, Sergei Bobrovsky.
Again, this time a stick save. Not the same goaltender we saw in the first period by any stretch of the imagination. He made a point to his teammates, and from that point on, the Jackets have done a great job, but in front of Bobrovsky. And when called on Jody, he's been there with a big save.
He's been locked in, focused. He's sharp on every single save. You mentioned that last goal in the third, early in the game, and since then he's just been a different player.
Here comes Hartnell. He's got 2 goals on the night. Broken up. Jackets play it. Dalton Trout at his own line. Trout head up. Steps away from McLennan. Pano the long shot. Here's a shot from the wing by Hartnell. That Ward's able to steer aside in the slot. Wenberg denied.
And that last goal I talked about, that was the last 10 seconds of the first period.
1950, less than 2 minutes after the Jackets had scored their first goal.
Now look at him. He's just so focused. He's on every single shot. It's almost like he makes the save and he can't wait to make the next one. And this is just the last sequence in front of Cam Ward. That line of Hartnell, Wenberg, and Dano doing a nice job of getting the puck to the front of the net.
Well, the message was sent, and it was his way to call out his teammates. And when you do that, you've got to make sure you back up what you say. And he's certainly done that. with a solid performance from that point on.
Well, he just showed that frustration and looked up at the defender, Prout, and I think that was enough. I don't know what he said in the locker room, but that was, I think we all got the message that he was frustrated.
Shot sails high and wide off the stick of Skinner. This one chopped wide of the net. He had no chance on that goal. He was screened in front, I think, as much as anything. Not happy that the Jackets did not clear the front of the net. Less than 6 minutes left. Letestu will lift it up and out. Cam Ward. Somewhat of a reassurance and resurgence for him. Being reassured that he's again the #1 goaltender on this hockey club. And he has certainly picked up his game. There's some talk over the last couple of years that the intention was to see if they could move him. It had the kind of contract that wasn't easy to move.
Get the best seats at the best prices for next season by becoming a Blue Jacket season ticket holder. Packages provide significant savings, exclusive events, and Stanley Cup playoff ticket priority. Plus, full season buyers will receive an autographed Nick Foligno, Ryan Johansson NHL All-Star Game photo. Go now to BlueJackets.com.
5:22 left. Jackets have the lone goal here in the third. They scored the only goal of the second. Both goals off the stick of Scott Hartnell. Atkinson, poke check, follows through though, sends it into the zone, but Jordan Staal takes the pass from Falk and dumps it in deep. David Savard away from Nestersil in the corner. Now Jack Johnson, Gerby and Nestersil both pursue the puck. Staal, Gerby walks around, tried to shovel it home on the wraparound. Gerby may be a little guy, but he's picking on the big boy there, Jack Johnson, and they're separated by the official. No damage done. We're back for the final 4:50.
And after this game tonight, check out Fox Sports Live. Highlights of all 8 NHL games on the docket, plus one of the craziest days in NFL history. After the first 5 minutes of the 2015 season, you better check to make sure your favorite superstar is still on your team. And 4 teams punch their ticket to the big dance as March Madness begins to heat up. That's tonight, Fox Sports Live, Fox Sports 1.
Set for the faceoff to Bobrovsky's right. It is won cleanly by the Blue Jackets. Letestu, Artem Anisimov, a pair of assists tonight. Dubinsky with an assist. It's the 200th of his NHL career. Lindholm battles there against Anisimov. Good hustle here by Dubinsky in the near corner. Murphy draped all over him. Dubinsky, nice move to get away from Murphy. But the puck is picked up there by Rask. A backhand pass for Eric Staal fails. The Jackets dump it right back into Carolina territory. Murphy on to Eric Staal. Across the line. Deals it on the right wing. Lindholm tosses behind the net for Staal. Jackets defend. 4:05 left here in this 3-3 tie. Late in third period play. Wenberg on for Hartnell. Dano down the right side. Hartnell moves in, fires a shot, and it ricochets all the way back out to center ice. At the offensive blue line, it's Wenberg. Backhands one in deep. Belmore around the net. Dano gets a good hit on him. Jordan. Up high, but not out. Kevin Connauton throws it in front. Jackets. Dano tried to refeed. And a little help there from Carolina. It goes back to Connauton. Battle ensues here in the near corner, and it's Wenberg. Alexander Wenberg has it roll off his stick. Malone gets it ahead. That's Dwyer on the right wing. Fires a shot. Stick save Bobrovsky, and it's out of play.
I like the decision. That line, Dano, Hartnell, Wenberg, boy, they've been effective the last few games, and Todd Richards is stuck with them. Look at Wenberg there. He was going to throw it right away to Hartnell, but he saw the player in between, kind of faked it, drew that player towards him, and as he did that, then when the lane opened, Patrick Dwyer came towards him, then he fed Hartnell on the wing. That's a very good heads-up play by Wenberg in the neutral zone, where you don't want to have a turnover in a 3-3 game with 4 minutes left.
Ron Hainsey, the long shot. Jackets block it. Down the left wing. Into Carolina territory. Bork takes a hit. Puck sails behind the net. Johansson is there. Atkinson. Bork. Swept to the point. Picked off there by Gerby. From center. Nesterson dumps it deep into Jackets territory. Right wing feed for Atkinson. Atkinson dumping it wide of the net. Ward, it's left right there. Murphy high off the glass. David Savard at that right point, pressured. Dubinsky in pursuit. Dubinsky walks out of the corner. Getting an arm around Dubinsky there was Rissanen. Letestu, off the point comes Tootin. Skinner. Chop back into Jackets territory. Trout holds off the forecheck of 7. Artem Anisimov tries to play the puck. Nash, long lead pass here for Skinner. Top of the circle, Skinner waits for reinforcements. Takes a hit from Trout. Fights it off. Jackets defend Wenberg. On to Hartnell. Wenberg overskates it, and it's Semin. A feed there for Skinner. The puck bouncing on him. Goes to the corner there, but Golubov is able to backhand to Connauton. Jackets march up the ice. Here is Dano. Down the right wing. Dano. Away from Jordan. Chopped behind the net. Picked up by Belmore. Wenberg finishing a check. Less than 90 seconds left in regulation. There was a time here recently where these two teams played through regulation and went to overtime on a number of occasions. One of their victories here in the season series was in overtime. In fact, Lindholm with the overtime game-winning goal back on the 7th of November here in Carolina. Our next telecast as the Jackets continue a brief 2-game road trip Thursday night. The Detroit Red Wings will host the Blue Jackets, and our coverage begins with Brian Gusenslaw and Bill Davich and Blue Jackets live pregame at 7. Opening faceoff 7:30 from the Joe.
See, Rene Bourque is posted up for a shot off the faceoff.
And he got it, but it sailed wide. Johansson was held up by Jordan Staal. 1 minute left in regulation. David Savard rifles in. Jackets with the lone goal here in the 3rd. They've kept Carolina off the score sheet since the latter part of period number 1. Falk now with a goal and 2 assists tonight. He has figured in all 3 Carolina goals. Derby into the offensive zone. Looking for Nestersil. Out of the net comes Bobrovsky. Cut off there by Jordan Staal. Walking out of the corner. Shot towards the net. Bobrovsky has lost his goal stick. He's got David Savard's stick.
Savard's looking for a forward to give him his stick. Now Savard's going to make his way to the bench.
Bobrovsky tried to hand it back to him. Savard says, forget it. I'm heading off.
He didn't want to stop and go back. He just wanted to get off the ice.
Final seconds ticking off here in regulation. Out of the left wing, Rask, the long shot, the blocker pad save of Bobrovsky. Boy, does he look like he's in his zone here now. We are headed to sudden death overtime. Each team picks up a point, and now the division rivals will play for that second point, 4-on-4. Back, respective coaches Todd Richards and Bill Peters behind their benches. You take a look there at their records in overtime.
You just saw Craig Hartsburg going back to the other end of the bench as the teams switch ends for overtime. Some shuffling going on down there.
A little more open ice, 4-on-4. Anisimov and Dubinsky appear to be the players that will start up front for the Jackets, with Savard and Jack Johnson on the points. Looking over at the Carolina side, it's the Staal brothers, Jordan and Eric, who will work up front. On the blue line,
That's Murphy
and Rissanen. Eric has a word with younger brother Jordan, working against Dubinsky, and from the draw, Jack Johnson pressured, thrown in front. Savard fights off the Eric Staal check. Dubinsky in neutral ice, on to Anisimov and across the line. Anisimov Looks for Savard. He's pinching it off the point. 10 goals on the year. Savard walks to the front of the net. Backhands one for Anisimov. Up high, Jack Johnson. Johnson away from Jordan Staal. Savard again thrown in front. Off a skate. Ward able to track that one down. Dubinsky's down on the ice. And played by Murphy.
Dubinsky had something to say to the ref there. He thought he was hooked. Not able to get that shot away or at least collect the rebound.
Here, Jordan Staal tried to walk to the front of the net. Ripped it wide. Approaching the 1 minute mark. Shot there. Off the mark. Ryan Johansson on for the Jackets. Along with Cam Atkinson. Tooten. And Savard. It remains on the ice. Ron Hainsey up high. Lindholm unable to knock it down. Rask can't make the play. Johansson down the left wing. Drops it back here for Fedor Tooten. Tooten on to Savard. Late in the shift for him. He'll head off and on comes Dalton Prout. Jackets change up. Carolina. Ron Hainsey out to center. Hainsey's pass at the line. Picked off. Hartnell with a pair of goals. Hands here to Dalton Prout. Prout jumping up in the play. Prout now drops a pass for Hartnell. Retreats into the slot. Prout rips it high and wide. He was looking glove side. Kevin Connaughton into the corner. That's Wenberg. Hainsey defends. Wenberg walks out of the corner. Alexander Wenberg spins, turns, fires it right in on Ward, and it's left there for Gerby. Gerby stepping away from the forecheck of Hartnell. Hartnell waving on. Dubinsky who comes on. Gerby now dances in, fires a shot off the stick of Golubov and out of play.
Good job by Golubov to get in that shot line. Gerby had good speed coming up through the neutral zone. Tough for the forwards who just came on. They're standing still. And this is that play by Dubinsky. He was not happy. Great touch pass towards the net. And there he gets kind of tied up on the stick. And how about Dalton Prout? How many times has he had the puck in the slot in overtime with a chance to win it? Put that one over the net. Nice pass by Scotty Hartnell. Good play by Dalton Prout to be in that position.
Less than 3 minutes left in sudden death overtime. Dubinsky able to chop it down. Belmore will have to hustle. The Jackets centerman coming quickly. Here's Letestu, rolls off his stick. Nash in front of the Columbus bench. Gets it across to Belmore. On there for Semin. Golubov. Left in the near corner. And it's Letestu walking out of his own zone. Letestu across the line. Dubinsky lurking high. Stick save. Rebound in the blue paint and covered up by Ward.
That was Jack Johnson bombing in there. He saw Letestu was running out of real estate. But Mark Letestu, watch this little move. On his backhand, quickly brings it to his forehand. Opportunity off the goaltender. Subtle little play, but that's not easy to do. And there the rebounds there. And Jack Johnson, defenseman, realizing Letestu was all by himself, tried to get in there and find a rebound to deposit the back of the net.
Jackets have all 3 shots here in overtime. Carolina has yet to test Sergei Bobrovsky here in sudden death. Less than 2 minutes remaining. Hainsey, left wing and across the line. That's Semin. Lets one fly and it's drilled wide of the net. Ryan Johansson tosses it back behind the Jackets' key. Atkinson. Puck picked up here by McClement. Up high. That's Falk. Floats one in. Stick save. Bobrovsky. Jack Johnson. Behind the net. Cam Atkinson. Great to see Atkinson get on the scoreboard. He is goalless in 11 games coming into this one. Here comes Staal. He's able to poke check it away and he rips it wide.
Wide off Bobrovsky, or was it just wide and out of play? Nonetheless, he followed the play. I think it might have hit Bobrovsky's stick. Crafty play by the veteran Eric Staal. Now watch him break in here on Sergei. Brings it to his forehand. Ended up going out over the netting. Look at he went off the top of Sergei Bobrovsky's stick and into the net.
1:14 left. Jackets battle. The Stahl brothers, Jordan and Eric out. They're dangerously in front of their own net there. Less than a minute to go. Tootin. On for Letestu. Prout at the line. Wenberg into the attacking zone. Wenberg now. Backhand. Quick shot. High and wide. Off the stick of Hartnell. Final 40 seconds. Here, Scotty Hartnell. Up high. Murphy chases. Drop back for Jack Johnson. Can't keep it in. Final 30. Johnson on for Marco Dano, who bounces one in wide of the Carolina cage. Eric Stahl and Jordan out for a long shift. Kevin Connaughton up high. Dishes. Hartnell. Jack Johnson walking in. Johnson into the slot. Here's Hartnell with a shot. No, it's blocked. Hartnell gets another attempt. And this time, Ward able to make the stop with 5 seconds left in overtime.
Now, some great sequences there. Dano started the play by chipping it in and going to get it. Didn't quite get him. But turnover at the line. Eric Stahl to Connaughton, who kept the play alive. And from there, Jack Johnson with a heads-up play.
Shots now are even at 32. The Jackets have 4 of the 5 shots here in sudden death overtime.
Connaughton sets up for the shot here.
Dubinsky's going to try to draw it back. And from the faceoff, or is there one? They're going to change the time here.
He said 5 seconds.
And they dropped it to 2.8. And give credit to the Russian official. He's the one that noticed it. Pointed up.
Your buddy.
My
So
buddy.
They all went back over. I like how the Blue Jackets all went right to the bench to get the extra. They could. Hertzberg is directing traffic, but during that little break, they went to the bench to see exactly what he wanted.
We are going to a shootout. The teams end up after regulation and 5 minutes of sudden death, tied at 3. And the reason we are headed to overtime, a second period power play goal by Scotty Hartnell, and then one more power play goal in the third.
And the Carolina Hurricanes came out early. 3 goals in the first period. And from there, the Blue Jackets went to work. We're down 3-1. Battle back, tied it up. Goal early, a power play goal in the third period. Goal early in the second period for Hartnell, too. That was on the power play.
And of course, this year, Jody, you don't have to name your shooters prior to the shootout. Any idea who you would select here for the Columbus Blue Jackets?
Rene Board.
Good choice.
Luke Adams.
Really?
Why not?
He
Let
just
the
like
new
him.
guys
He's a
go.
newfie. He's a newfie.
Let the Newfoundlander go. You know, I think Dano's got something special going on down there.
Mark Letestu, 1 for 1 this season, will be the first shooter.
A lot of good options on that Blue Jacket bench.
We should point out, Carolina, they're the home team. They had the choice to shoot first or second. They've selected to go second, and Letestu comes in. 1 goal, and this one he sends high.
Just a quick little move there for Letestu. More of a head fake. Waited to bring it to his forehand, and when he did, just a little wide. Tried to buy time on that side of the net and then go far side, but just didn't connect.
Lindholm will shoot. He had the game-winning, game-deciding goal against the Jackets. He's 2 for 3. His game-deciding goal at the expense of the Blue Jackets back on the 7th of November. And here we go. Lindholm, 5-point night. 3 goals, 2 assists against Edmonton Sunday. Moves in, fires wide of the net. Trying to pull Bobrovsky out. Bobrovsky held his own. And it will be the second shooter for the Blue Jackets.
Well, Lindholm here, waiting for Sergei to move. Sergei stays locked in, doesn't bite on any of those fakes. Patience, 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 and then makes the move.
Artem Anisimov will be the second shooter. Anisimov this season is 0 for 1. And Anisimov gets the word. Here he comes. The big rangy centerman, 2 assists. Here tries to beat Ward. He gets the right pad out of it.
Good save by Ward. Anisimov here. That's a pretty good speed coming in. Head up the whole way. Tries to shift Ward. Tries to drag him to the right side of the net and bring the puck back to the left. But Ward did not bite.
Victor Rask will be the next shooter for Carolina. He is 1 for 4. 25%. He has a game-deciding goal. Rask also with his 9th goal here. A power play goal. Moves in. Denied. The right pad of Bobrovsky.
Very quick pad of Sergei Bobrovsky. Rask just tries a little move. Tries to change gears with his hands. Just quick release. Ryan Johansson.
He's got 2 game-deciding goals. He is 3 for 6, 50%. A chance to put the Jackets in front. Announced here, does not get too many cheers from the Carolina crowd. Johansson slows it down. Johansson waits. Johansson scores. On the backhand. What a move again. A patented move by number 19.
And watch this. Sorry, Jeff. It's about patience. Ryan Johansson leaves the puck on the forehand. Doesn't stick out. Watch. Right there. Right here. Now it's on one part. Waits for the goalie to move. When the goalie moves and commits, he takes the puck and goes the other way. Kind of waits for the goaltender to open the door. Just confidence and patience in that move.
Jeff Skinner 0 for 4 this season. Skinner taking his time, weaves into the offensive zone, hangs on and fires. Bobrovsky the stop. The Jackets win a shootout victory, improving their shootout record to 5-3.
3 goals in the first period by the Carolina Hurricanes, and from the second period on, Sergei Bobrovsky was not going to let anything in the net. And you can tell by his posture how he stared that puck down the whole way. But that's what he was accomplishing, and boy, what a game.
A 4-3 victory for the Jackets in come-from-behind fashion. And Sergei Bobrovsky with an exclamation mark. Outstanding through the final 2 periods, overtime, and